Alright, so welcome to the first World of Warships replay of the USS Hull. This ship, oh man, this is an absolute beast of a ship. So, let's talk about what makes the Hull special. The Hull is special in a few ways. One, look at its health pool. This thing has 30,000 HP, but what makes it so good is the survivability of the ship. This thing has 3 super heals. It has 3 improved engine boosts, and that just goes such a long way in making the ship survive a long time during these battles. And this thing has been called the cockroach of World of Warships because, well, it's hard to kill, and also it dishes out an absolute beating. The guns reload 3.4 seconds. They're 203 millimeters in caliber. That's the most unique thing about this ship, is that the guns are cruiser caliber and they're on a destroyer hull, more specifically a Forrest Sherman hull. But wow, these guns are just amazing. They pepper cruisers, they pepper battleships, and even in certain engagements with destroyers, this thing can be an absolute beast. Now, look at the matchmaking. We are going against Salem with an 8.5 kilometer radar, the Petropavlos Russian cruiser 12 kilometer radar, and a bunch of very formidable destroyers. The Tromp, which is a great gunboat in and of itself with a beautiful airstrike. The Smollin, which is just a DPM machine, which also has radar. The Marceau is another DPM machine, very fast, very capable destroyer. And the Shimakaze, which is notoriously known for having 15 torpedoes, pretty hard hitting guns. Now, our team, we have quite a bit of adversity as well. The Gdansk is a great destroyer. Holland, great all-around ship. Daring is a great Kapkan tester, great gunboat. And I mean, well, of course, we talked about Hull. Everything else, I mean, I really could care less about submarines. Most of them are relatively the same. The Germans are known for their dive capacity. Americans are known for their versatility. Battleships, Vermont, hard hitting, Kremlin, hard hitting. And look at that. Another thing about the ship, amazing AA. Just look at how we shred some of these planes here. We should be getting a few kills in a second. Look at that. Great damage on the top right if you take a look up there. 3 taken down. Also, these are 3 attacked aircraft. These are not 3 fighters. Those things are actually legitimately hard to kill. Taking a couple shots from the Marceau here. Just trying to think about what to do. I think about engaging the Marceau, but it's a fast ship, 12 kilometers away. It's a hard target to hit. I just decided to take it easy, use the Daring's hydro to my advantage, and he does spot the torpedoes for me, so I decided to duck in behind the island. The cruiser is just out of my gun range, which is pretty unfortunate. We can take a look at the situation in the north. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 ships plus the carrier. We are pretty outgunned here in the south. It's really only me, the Daring, the Kremlin, and the Prinz Aldebert. And there's Smollin. I definitely decided to open up on this ship because the Smollin is very dangerous to a Daring. It's very dangerous. 2-on-1 we can take him out, but he's a tough target to kill anyway. I missed my first few shots because it's taking a while, but then I start to lock in a little bit. Get 3 in a row. These things have insanely hard to kill in the hull. Cruiser guns means it hits like a tank. High explosive is no exception. Even though this thing is more known for its armor piercing, the HE can do great things against destroyers. This is Salem, so I burned some high explosive here at the Salem because it's on a bit of a pool. Just trying to get some fire started while I'm still in the smoke, which I do. I land one on the Salem right there. He keeps it on because, I mean, most high level players keep their fires on. I leave the smoke, which I probably shouldn't have done. Now that I'm thinking back on it, but then again, it does also allow me to use these to its full value and still kite away and shoot the Salem. With the way I'm kiting, I do only get to use 2 of the guns, but at least it's 2/3 of the firepower of the ship, whereas if I was going head-on, I only be able to use 1. Luckily, the back 2 guns are 360 degrees, so it kind of helps when you're moving around like this. He takes out my back gun, at which point I just decide that I need to get the front gun and action again. Switch to the armor piercing, maybe get some 10 rounds in. There we go. Look at these penetrations. Whenever it does hit so hard, look at that, 1600 damage place 3 times now. Just great damage. Maneuver to avoid some of those shots. Pick up on the engine. Dodge some more shots. One of the most important things about playing as a destroyer in warships is knowing exactly how to dodge shells. Because at distances like this, you can definitely do this. At the shorter distances you can, but when you're at this distance, you know how to do it, then pretty great. We just popped the super heal, which allows you to go back, I think, around 6,000 HP. If you look at the bottom left, you can just see HP here back. And there goes the Salem. Now at this point, I'm just trying to assess the situation. I know there's a Marceau in C, I know there's a Tromp at C, and I know the Kremlin and the Petro are just behind that island, to the bottom of the map. When you're playing in the Hull, it's very important that you remember your role in the team. You are not a cap contester. I define a cap contester as a ship that's mainly a destroyer or a light cruiser that goes into caps and just rains hell. Here we go, gonna line some shots up against the Petro now. Now this right here is exactly where the Hull shines. Broadside cruiser, not paying attention. Just can get some AP damage straight in there. Let's see what we can do. Look at that, 3,700 damage. This is a destroyer, by the way, 4,800 damage. This is just massive amounts of AP damage from the destroyer. Petro knows what's good for me, speeding up, trying to get out of there. Luckily, the ballistics on these guns are very well. They're pretty easy to shoot. He turns in, so I gotta adjust for that. Just massive amounts of AP damage straight into the superstructure. He goes dark, which means I can't see him anymore. So I had to burst out of this island because I'm kind of worried about that Tromp that was in C. I don't know where exactly he is. And there's the Petro again. He has me spotted, no doubt he's gonna fire at me, so I have to kite away, put on the boost, and try to dodge some of the shells, which I do. Get some more AP damage in there, just trying to sink him at this point because he is quite the threat to me. He has that 12-kilometer radar, he has those high-velocity Russian HE shells. Just really trying to get him out of the game here. He gets hit by a torpedo, takes him down to 1,000 HP. I'm trying to secure the kill. The Tromp releases his dive bombers at me. I try to light a few of them up because I know he's not going to hit me with them. And boom, I get hit with shells from the Kremlin right in front of me. I shoot back at him just a little bit. I think the Kremlin doesn't know that I have very poor torpedoes because he goes back into the island for some reason, and I do let 2 of them out, but they're very bad. And at the same time all this is happening, there comes the Tromp. So I bring all my guns to bear, switch to high explosive, which can do great damage against destroyers, and we just have a straight up brawl, just a slugfest. Tromp versus Hull, 2 very good ships. This is really anyone's fight at this point, but in a one-on-one, the only major advantage I have is that I have a heal, and he is exposing way too much broadside. He's getting great damage on me, but I have the heal if he doesn't, and I do have the support of some of my team because they're also shooting. So So in the end, that's what gives me the win. It's the Trump, and he's gonna go down. He releases some more dive bombers that barely miss me. Okay. Now during that gunfight, those 2 torpedoes I launched, yeah, they actually hit the Kremlin and did, I think, maybe 35,000 damage, which is great. Now at this point, all the destroyer threats down at the south are gone. There are no more radar cruisers that could be a problem. I still have a heal. I still have my last engine boost, and the hull is in great condition right now. So I decided to go and take C because we are behind on points a lot, and even though my teammates are getting A, it's still important that we maintain the lead and try to cut back on them getting as many points as we can, because right now we do have the tactical advantage, even though they are technically winning right now. The Kremlin is not a slow battleship by any means. At her fastest, she can go 31 knots. So her going straight up and me going to the side like this, my detection rate is 6.5 kilometers. She's at 7. So I'm just trying to make sure she doesn't get within 6.5, because if she spots me and releases a HE salvo against me, I'm going to have a very bad day. So my plan right here now is just to get into C, cap it, and then go in between these islands, switch to switch to armor piercing, and then just go into the side of that Kremlin. Now in hindsight, maybe I should have started releasing right here, but I didn't know where that submarine was. I also didn't know where the Shimakaze was, so I just didn't want to take any risks that I didn't need to, especially since I wasn't already spotted. There's the Shimakaze, so now it's just the submarine I need to worry about. I decided to keep going with my normal plan. I decided to slow down, and I decided to turn. Make sure I stay a far away distance from the Kremlin. He has turned around, so there's really no risk anymore. So I'm just going to guarantee that I take this cap before I start shooting at him. Train the guns in his direction. Looks like we win the battle up north. We took it Shimakaze, and there come the Richthofen's torpedo bombers. And let's see the AA in action. There we go, bang. Kremlin misses the shots against me, and I'm just giving it to this aircraft carrier right now. 7 planes shot down. Make that 8 planes, 9 planes, and then he leaves with the rest of his torpedo bombers because he knows good for him. As I take it 1 more plane before he leaves, that's 10 planes right there. And I release into the Kremlin using high explosive because he is a bit angled right now. I decide to turn to the right and get away so that if he shoots, I can speed dodge like this, and the shells are going to go right from me. Going to farm as much damage as I can as possible. There come the carriers and attack planes, so I give more attention to that. I turn in, and he's going to miss. There we go, beautiful dodge again. This plane's right that way, so I select my priority A sector. Shoot down the plane. Shoot down another plane, there goes 2. He goes for 1 last run, hits me with 1 or 2. Kremlin's still taking off the hits. The Kremlin's really nothing you can do, and there goes the Vermont's taking him out. Now there's only 1 last surface ship that we can take care of. That's not the submarine, and it's the carrier, the Michael van Richthofen. Now he is within my range with the guns right now, but at the distance he can easily go out of them before my shells get there, so I decided to close the distance a bit. Spreading a bit of positivity in the chat there. And there we go, we let loose with the high explosive. In hindsight, the German carriers do have an armored flight deck, so there's going to be a lot of ricochets on this shooting against this guy. So maybe in hindsight I should have used high explosive, but I just really wasn't thinking. I thought I was going to get more pens than I did, although I am getting some pens and they are doing some damage. Since he is at the map border, his ship's kind of moved weird, so it's kind of hard to aim, but it is what it is. Still getting some good hits on this. there goes the submarine launching torpedoes. Unfortunately, though, carriers do have pretty good counters against submarines, so trying to torpedo them doesn't work out too well. Getting about half and half on the hits versus the ricochets. Richthofen has run out of planes because he's not trying to launch any at us. There are some of the torpedoes, he's trying to dodge them, and he does so successfully, so credit where credit's due. Just absolutely amazing firepower from the Hull here. And then I get the Confederate medal, which is 20% of the enemy team's total HP whilst damaging these ships. Just a great medal. Really highlights the kind of match that we have here. As I'm getting more of his broadside, we're going to start seeing less and less of those ricochets and more full pins. He released one more attack run on my defensive AA. I try to get the final kill on this guy. There go the 3 planes that I shot down, 4 planes. Oh, come on. Didn't quite get the kill, but it's okay. And then there was one final ship standing between us and victory. We have all 3 cap circles, so there's no way that we're going to lose this. Even if he were to take 1 cap circle, there's really no way that he could ever win. The Vermont in chat is very politely telling us to protect the caps, but like I said, there's really no need. I mean, honestly, even if he captured 2 of them in 1 minute, which is literally impossible, you know, there's nothing he could do about it. So he does start to capture C, which is not really going to matter because he can't even generate any points from it for at least a minute. And since we're going to win in 1 minute and 3 seconds, according to the timer on the top middle, there's just nothing he can do about it. His death is going to be inevitable if the time doesn't run out. But the time will run out. We are going to win by points. We're going to get to 1,000 before they do. And there's just nothing that the enemy U4501 can do about it. Overall, a great game. 165,000 damage, almost 166,000. 1.8 million potential damage, 41,000 spotting damage, 22,000 team score, 44,000 damage done to planes as I shot 24 of them down. Got some very rare torpedo hits in the Hull. 255 hits of the main caliber guns, 5 fires and 1 flood. Just overall a really, really solid game to get back into playing World of Warships and to get back into playing the ship. This was also my first match in weeks, so this is just a great feeling to just come in and just a little bit rusty. I could have definitely improved my decision making, but we got a tier 1 efficiency badge, 3.3k free XP, 700,000 credits, 2,300 base XP, which is almost 500 more than the next guy. Just an absolutely great victory. Look at all these aircraft destroyed. 13 attack planes, 11 other types of planes. Look at the damage things here for anyone who's interested. Most of our damage was done to the Kremlin and the Petro, but also Carrier, Salem, really destroyed that Tromp, got some shots into the small one. Just great battle. Anyway, hope y'all have a great day. Peace.